Be ruthless with your goals. Set them high. Don't let people tell you no. Olympia prep. We are in the final weeks, first thing in the morning here, and doing the things that you might not want to do. You really build the physical and mental toughness in anything you're trying to do is in the process of things that you don't want to do. The training, the cardio, the low calories, to me, that's all the easy part, easier. It's the stuff like training. I love to train. Like pushing myself in that's not hard because I like it. For me, it's the posing. And I think it's in these moments of you put yourself through the rigors of doing the hard stuff, the stuff you don't want to do, is where you build the physical toughness, but absolutely the mental side of toughness. And so every morning I come here, first thing, get out of bed, fasted, and go through posing just like I'm walking onto the Olympia stage. So I'll do a solid straight 12-minute round of posing nonstop, just like I would do it at the Olympia, because I want to ingrain that over and over and over again. So when I walk out there, I can execute it just like I would. And so it's not just checking the boxes anymore. It's also the quality and the effort absolutely matter. And this is the hardest part for me, is the posing, because it's just a constant contraction of everything, and it's just monotonous routine. So it's whatever you are doing, those aspects where you don't want to do that part of the process is where you can gain ground on people, because other people are going to be skipping on this. And so whether it's school, studying the extra hour, training the employee, that extra bit of time put in, whatever it is in your job or your sport, doing those extra things is where you beat people out. And that's why I can get up and do this and go through the rounds, because I know it's going to pay dividends for when I'm on stage and we're going through poses and guys are falling out, they're getting worked, they're not hitting poses right, because I put in this practice. So this is where you develop that side of it and up your mental and physical game. And another thing, part of this too, is visualization, which is an extremely powerful tool. So to alleviate that pressure of like, what's it gonna be like to walk on the biggest stage in bodybuilding with all these people looking at you? It's like, well, starts up here and how you want that process to look for yourself. I visualize as I'm posing, just like I'm on the Olympia stage. And it sounds silly, but if you're in an athletic endeavor or you're about to do a presentation or whatever, the practice you do is you're visualizing just like you would be in that situation in a positive manner, so you don't have any of these negative emotions and feelings come about, and training yourself to not have that occur. So this is what we do first thing in the morning. It's part of, like, I think absolutely the mental and physical side that can really separate yourself out to be the best version that you can be. So after posing in the morning, I come in here in my office and look through my pictures and try to make decisions on what I want to do with the program for the day. And these last weeks of prep can be a very hard mental challenge, because you want to deliver on stage, and I think it's important to make sure you're delivering on the things you want for you. It's really easy to try to make expectations based on what others want for you, and that's a lot of external stress to manage, from fans, from people that are hating on your physique, and I think those are opinions that are out of your control from other people. Like, the bigger you get in this, and really anything, the more hate you're gonna get, just because people want to tear down others that are being successful. And I think you need to make consideration for those that are doing that there is those people are hurt as well, and hurt people hurt others. So trying to extend some forgiveness in that, but within this, like the big thing going to stage and mental wise to kind of manage that external stress is you have to really be able to silence the noise around you from others that's negative. And my big thing here going to stage is making sure I deliver the expectation for myself. And I think that really helps narrow down like what I want to do and not let external factors influence my decisions. And honestly, my own expectations are harder, and it makes me question too, like, will I be conditioned enough? Like, do I keep pushing? And it can make you make changes to the plan that might be overly aggressive that you don't want to do. So you really have to sit here, look at your visuals, and try to make an unemotional decision based on logic and looking through your past data, and try to remove some of that emotional drive, because it can really influence you negative. That's why people have coaches. But being self-coaching, it can definitely make it a lot harder, and why you should have some outside influence as well. As far as the mental health process and all this, I'd say earlier on I was much more influenced by external factors of why I was doing things. A lot of people get into this, like, get the pro card, right? It's a status. It's looking like you have some type of belonging, that you have some validation and success that you can kind of show to others. I think as you get advanced, you can kind of step outside of that, and it becomes more of like what you're doing truly for yourself. And I think that helps narrow down the choices that you do make, and can remove a lot of the stress going into it too. So there's an athlete development process that needs to happen across your stages of being a competitor and achieving greater emotional maturity in this. And throughout this, like, one thing that I have explored in this past prep is actually starting getting therapy, like with a counselor. For one, we all have problems, and I want to know, and I'm pretty introspective, and I've done a lot of psychology work and reading, and even different tests like Briggs and Myers personality test, just try to understand myself more and how I can play to my strengths and understand weaknesses. But there's also a lot of unknown, like just like we have coaches for your physique, you can have coaches for the mental game, which is extremely important. And so that's what I've been working on this prep, to try to explore the unknown of what I don't really know about myself and how I can improve it. And also improve myself as a bodybuilder, not just for stage, but off stage. And bodybuilding is what I do, but my relationships are kind of who define who I am. And those can suffer bodybuilding, or if you're going all in on your work or your school or whatever it may be. So part of all this process was, how can I do this and still improve my relationships? Because at the end of the day, if I went to the Olympia stage, I had no one there. It was just me by myself. Like, would it be that meaningful to me? But what's really meaningful are the memories to look back on with the ones that I share that I loved. So it's important that I really nurture those relationships in this process, so they extend beyond bodybuilding. I don't tarnish them during it. I don't want to do bodybuilding if it's hurting the people I love around me. So part of this process in self-development and therapy is trying to improve my mental side, so I don't get so disconnected in prep, and that I can still have meaningful relationship, like with Renee or with friends, and keep that type of engagement. Even with my work colleagues as well, there's relationships that need to be maintained there. And stress management too. There's things about myself that I've learned that I can really overthink on things. Go figure. And it can take me down a real rabbit hole of negativity and anxiousness. And that anxiousness, until I deal with the situation, it impacts my sleep. Then it impacts my recovery and my training. So it's like, how can I improve on this and work on anxiety when I come to like confrontation in work or in other relationships? And so trying to strengthen the mental side, I can help manage that better, because we're all going to have these emotions that come up from past experiences and how they'll play out in the moment. But
how do we do to handle those emotions in a better way? And that's what I've been working on this entire prep. So when I feel something coming on, I have tools in place to quickly address that emotion and point it towards something positive, not let it take it down something negative. So it's been quite the mental health journey, if you want to call it, throughout this, which when you think back on it, bodybuilding has been so much more than just developing my physique. I've had to develop my mind to even greater degree to continue down this path successfully, but it's carried out in everything that I've done. And so I think that's why, for me, bodybuilding still makes sense to keep doing. For one, my physique's improving, but also it's still creating this greater potential for myself in my relationships and my mental health. For some of you out there, it might not be doing that, and that's okay. You need to find something that does. And bodybuilding might not be the positive outlet for you. Right now, over to the gym, hitting a pull session for today. And I love this stuff. I love training. It makes the grind's easy, if you want to call it the grind. But I think that's part of the mental development aspect of this is you need to enjoy the process and live in the moment, even when they are getting hard. One thing you will get a lot, and especially like in the gym I'm at, the Muscle Factory in San Antonio, it's awesome. It's such a good group community of just competitors, like-minded individuals, which is where you want to really surround yourself with to build up a good mental place to train. It's awesome. You will get a lot of people that are going to give you over support, if I want to say that, and even like show predictions of like, man, you're gonna go win it, you're gonna go get your pro card, you're gonna go win the Olympia. And even the positive stuff, you kind of need to not let that over influence you, because the support's great, but you also need to have a humility about where you're at, a realism where you're at, and just have those few people in your circle that are they're gonna shoot you straight, not bullshit you, whether good or bad. And there's like 3 people I have in my circle that I listen to. I know I can I'll tell you, there's Renee, Luke Miller, and Chris Tuttle. I know I can ask them and they'll give me a direct answer that's a realistic of where I'm at. Other people have a bit of more bias and they want to support you and they just build you up kind of in the ways you don't need to. But again, having like an environment around like that is awesome. And you need to tune out some of this outside noise that you're gonna get, and it can come positive and negative. One thing here is I have short-term goals set for everything I do, whether it be my training, my physique. It's important to have those little milestones that you're trying to hit even when you're in prep, and that adds up to your long-term goals. And these goals you need to chase aggressively, but realize patience too. I've been bodybuilding for 12 years and I'm still progressing up. So think about 12 years you're gonna be doing this or longer. So be patient, but aggressively pursue them daily. Be ruthless with your goals, set them high. Don't let people tell you no. You need to get after them. The naysayers, move those people aside. Again, I've mentioned this environment, the support environment. Those are the people that need to be pushing you harder towards your goals, setting the bar higher for yourself. You need to educate yourself in this. Become a forever student of bodybuilding. That's why I formed J3 University. It's just through learning and doing this that I wanted to share and help others be able to do it better. And if I had this years ago, like, man, it would just fast-tracked me to success. And we're in a great information age. The problem is now there's too much information out there. You need to make sure you get it from the right people. People that have given the results that you're looking for consistently. That's the number one. There's a lot of people out there that are just textbook smart, but they don't have the results to back it up. So you get a lot of charlatans in the industry, people that are kind of putting fake fronts out as gurus. But to really advance yourself, educate yourself in all facets of bodybuilding. And that involves earlier on finding some type of mentorship, tutelage that you could get under and learn from. Or even if that's a coach that could guide you in that too. Not just one that just, here's your meal plan, go do it. The one that teaches you the whys behind it so you become that better athlete. In advancing the mental side of education and learning, you absolutely will find yourself becoming a top level bodybuilder, because we're not immersed at like a young age into all the coaches that you get like when you're in school, where you have like a head coach, a position coach, strength coach. We don't have that in bodybuilding. You're self-coaching a lot of other areas, and as you go along, you kind of build up your team. But find those people to learn from. Especially if you're just in school, like figuring it out, like go mentor under like physical therapists, go mentor under like strength coaches, go mentor under other people that are involved in areas that you could get access to free and learn from. If you're in the academic world, teachers that know exercise science and nutrition, like build up your foundation in that, because that's going to help you pull apart bullshit that you come across in this industry that's not right. It's going to lead you astray, have you waste time. So up your education. It's just my own plug for J3 University and all this, is that would be a huge step in the right direction for advancing you physically and mentally. One thing you're going to have to accept in this journey is there's going to be plenty of things you cannot control that have happened to you. Injuries, illness, life situations. In this gym, the Smith machine that's right over here, in 2018, I tore my rec fem doing it, split squat. It was bad. Collapsed doing it, could barely move my leg the next day. I was 12 weeks out from the New York Pro. I drove to Austin like every other day for rehab. I did the show anyway. There's two things you can do in that situation. You can sit down and you pat about it, or you accept it and you immediately do something about it and you just look ahead. Because sitting and just being frustrated and just bitter about the situation does nothing. So these things will happen to you. The next year in prep, I tore the other leg doing the same thing. So it will happen, and it's what you do with the situation. It's part of the mental development side of it, and realizing that everyone else this is happening to as well. You're not the only one, you're not unique in it. So do something with it. It doesn't just change your direction, it doesn't have to. Worry and concern and fear of what does this mean for your bodybuilding? Will I be able to bodybuild again? All those worries are things that have not come true. So you decide in that moment what you're going to do with it, and you can determine what your truth will be. But you have to accept that these uncontrollables are going to happen to you in this. And the faster you can move past it and process those emotions, don't get me wrong, I get pissed right when it happens, is the sooner you can keep progressing and moving forward. Yeah, finished the training session today. Went great. Logbook, made some slight progressions, even being this close to the show. If you manage fatigue well, you absolutely can still keep improving. It's the preps where you're trying to rush to the end to get ready and you're driving a quick fat loss rate, that performance can really drop off. And it's just a snowball effect of like fatigue high, poor sleep, hunger higher, and then you're just like losing tissue to the show. So the right timeline, you absolutely can manage your prep. A few things that really are going to play here is discipline. Over the long term, you're going to have to make choices that keep you stricter to the process of things that you don't like and the things that you absolutely do love, which are the easy ones to stick to. And just create resilience. Like, you're going to have a lot of adversity that can come at you, some more than others, right? But through that, you just have to keep pursuing. And even if there are injuries or illnesses, like I mentioned, or people saying that, some person told me that John will never do anything as a pro. That was right when I turned pro. Someone said that to me nearly 8 years ago. Here I am on the Mr. Olympia open stage. So realize that. Don't let other naysayers hold you back. Embrace the discomfort and the uncomfortability, because there are times you're really going to change, whether it's addressing mental stressors, things about yourself that you don't want to look into your past and deal with, or even the physical stressors. Those moments of getting uncomfortable is where you're truly going to be able to change. And always have a growth mindset. Be open to others, but also be critical and hesitant. And that's why you should educate yourself, but be open so you can grow and develop throughout that process. And I think lastly, a big takeaway for bodybuilding is value the people in your circle. There's going to be a tight group of that circle. I know bodybuilding could be really important to a lot of people out there, but it shouldn't supersede the relationships you have for the people that are standing behind you, because if bodybuilding was ever taken away, or when it does end, all you have left are those people and those relationships. So cherish that small circle that you may have, and put a lot of value and effort into building those relationships. By through all those things and applying it to your bodybuilding journey, you can really reach a high level. And what high level is for you, it might not be the Olympia, it might be, but you'll at least see out the best version of yourself to stage.